Oh.
Do you want this football? Will you adore me? See my
Hey! เ Hi.
Oh! Hey!
Hey.